Welcome to the United States of America, or USA, commonly known as the United States or America, is a country primarily located in North America. It consists of 50 states, a federal district, 5 major unincorporated territories, 9 minor outlying islands, and 326 Indian reservations. It is the world's third largest country by both land and total area. Now, let's learn how USA negotiate process.
For the negotiation process, in distributive negotiation, parties compete over the distribution of a fixed pool of value. Here, any gain by one party represents a loss to the other. You may also hear this referred to as a zero-sum negotiation or win-lose negotiation. Integrative negotiation gives us one of the biggest chances of a win. In this type of negotiation situations, there is more than one issue to be negotiated, and negotiators have the potential to make trade-off across issues and create value. Team negotiations are those type of negotiation situations where the negotiation parties are made up of than one person. This might include union contract negotiations or major business negotiations. A multi-party negotiation consists of a group of 3 or more individuals, each representing his or her own interest, who attempt to resolve perceived difference of interest or work together to achieve a collective objective. Qualities of a negotiator: preparation and planning skill. You need to knowledge of the subject matter being negotiated, ability to think clearly and rapidly under pressure and uncertainty, ability to express thought verbally, listening skill, judgmental and general intelligence, integrity, ability to persuade others. For the process negotiation in America, they prepare, probe and propose. The prepare, probe and propose stage involve researching pertinent information as well as analyze all the data you call to determine its utility and define ground rules, exchange information. Your primary focus to establish the terms of the negotiation as well as exchange information to improve the chance of a successful negotiation. Clarification: the opportunity to seek any necessary clarification from your opposition involving the issue itself, other party with stake in the negotiation, the evidence provided, or even what may constitute a mutually agreeable outcome. Okay, for the last, bargaining and problem solving. This process can be late and difficult negotiation. You must sometimes move back to step of problem solve until a parties are comfortable. During the bargaining stage, each side will lay out their concern as well as their perceived solution. For the conclude and implementation, this stage can involve signing contract or legally enforcing. Any other terms laid out during the negotiation process, follow-up is crucial, ensuring that implementation brings with the desired effect for both parties.
Why people in the USA use bargaining behavior? Most Americans are used to bargaining because they like to make negotiation. It is critical to appear strong and forceful because dealing with an insecure rival may motivate Americans to bargain harder. Declare your stand clearly and be prepared to fight for it if necessary. Perhaps it might be beneficial to stress what you have to offer. Negotiators in the US often establish firm position at the beginning of the negotiation process. They may be more willing to make compromise if you have convinced them that you intend to keep your own. America prefer to focus on point of disagreement while bargaining, so little time is dedicated to reaffirming agreement and emphasize commonalities. Americans may employ fraud negotiation strategies such as sending fake nonverbal signs, seeming uninterested in the overall transaction, or making misleading requests and concessions. According to the American Society of Secretary and Administration, most people in the USA want agreement to be conducted in good faith. Good cop, bad cop is an approach to negotiating that requires great alignment among the participants. Americans may refer to the approach as twisting things a little, omitting a few details, or some other terms. If properly planned, it may be effective in your own bargaining strategy. US negotiators may utilize pressure strategy such as beginning with the best offer, demonstrating stubbornness, or making last offer. When employing comparable approach, make your aim clear and avoid becoming pushy. Silence may be a particularly effective pressure strategy when used against the US side. Be careful while attempting to create time pressure. It may be incredibly successful, but the sense of haste that American has usually worked against them. Their patience may decrease and consumers may begin to consider alternatives to the current scene. Negotiators in the United States may look aggressive or hostile at the time, but you should avoid being too confrontational. Anger, threat, or warning are signs that the discussion is not going well. Americans only employ strict action to make a last point, but never as a technique. Americans may use attitudinal bargaining, dual messaging, or grimacing. People believe that attempts to make you feel guilty and appeals to personal ties have no place in business. Using this technique on your own, on the other hand, may be quite successful. Introducing writing terms and conditions could be an effective tactic for shortening the time you spend at the post office or filling out forms, avoiding offering significant present or engaging in action that might be seen as bribery. Corruption and bribery are uncommon in the United States.
Decision-making of America. Level of hierarchy in America company vary considerable. Older or more traditional one can be quite hierarchical, while those working in the fast-paced industry often show flat hierarchies and value autonomy and self-reliance. Nevertheless, all of them likely have extensive policies and process that may affect decision making. They are almost always followed. Decision makers are usually individuals who may or may not consult with others in the groups or organizations. Establishing consensus is not necessarily required before making a decisions. Managers are expected to accept responsibility for their own as well as their employees' actions. Decision-making authority is often delegated to lower levels in the hierarchy and may not require any further approval from others. Generally, the size of a deal determines how high in the organization you need to go. Once the bargaining process has concluded, decisions rarely take much time. American business people are used to make up their mind quickly and decisively. It can be very difficult to get them to change their minds afterwards. After making decisions, business people may apply universal principle rather than considering the specific situations. Empirical evidence and other objective facts weigh much more strongly than personal feelings and experience do. Americans are generally risk takers and may not shy away from making bold moves.
In USA, they have their own communication style for negotiated. Imagine being asked to play a board game you are unfamiliar with and being told to do so without knowing the rules. The game quickly turns into a frustrating and perplexing experience as you upset other players with your mistake and incorrect responses. We may compare difficulties of playing a board game without understanding the rules to difficulties of entering a corporate environment in a foreign country without knowing the rules in many ways. An individual from the Middle East, for instance, might be a skilled negotiator in their own country but struggle in USA due to a lack of comprehension of the negotiating process and player expectations. 4 important things about the US negotiation style. Firstly, negotiation in the USA are result-oriented. In American society, getting things done and doing so as quickly and effectively as possible are highly valued. This indicates that they are more likely to arrange the negotiation process and include checkpoints to indicate progress along the road. As a result, you might discover that your American negotiator don't take much of an interest in getting to know you before or throughout the negotiation process. If you are from a culture where relationships are highly valued, you might find this surprising. If you come from one of the culture, you should be aware that Americans do seek to establish connection based on trust, but that this trust is frequently placed in the clauses of the ensuing contract rather than in the relationships themselves. Secondly, negotiations in the USA are direct and transparent. The US has a very direct culture when it comes to communicating. This means that Americans have a propensity for being straightforward when expressing their thoughts and being explicit about their expectations during discussions. Speaking the truth is highly valued when if it sends a message that negotiator may not find favorable. They are extremely unlikely to assume that their counterparts will be able to interpret their emotions or opinions from their body language, expression, or other nonverbal cues. These strategies extend to how they express their idea as well. When in the United States, it is critical to communicate verbally and to say what you think. Failure to do so and withholding information that should have been shared may be perceived as dishonest by your counterparts. Last but not least, negotiation can be like a game of a table tennis. It also worth noting that the negotiation process in the United States resembles a game of table tennis. A stream of questions and ideas is expected to flow across a negotiating table in order to establish facts or find common ground. If you come from a culture where communication is less agenda-driven or more fluid or secular, you may need to take a more prescriptive approach. Discussion may be more rapid than you're used to, and you'll need to use all of your verbal skill to keep up. Americans, unlike some other cultures, tend to keep personal and professional lives separate. In fact, keeping the two part is beneficial. The last one is negotiation in the USA are not personal. As was already mentioned, American negotiation culture can be very direct. They are proceeding are prescriptive and trust is placed in the contract as opposite to in relationships. As they say in the USA, business is not personal, meaning that business agreements and outcomes take precedence over personal feelings. As such, avoid taking offense from the elements of American negotiation culture that different from your home culture.
In USA, if you choose to do nothing, then the issue will not have closer which cloud affect the performance of your team. You should always use the following best practice when you manage conflict between employees. You should do your best to begin managing conflict as quickly as you can when you see or hear about a conflict on your team. That way, the event or situation will be fresh in everyone's mind and you are not letting the situation faster, which can create a toxic work environment. The conflict need to be addressed by everybody involved, and the best way to handle that is through a immediate discussion. You need to understand the conflict from all the sides, so you are able to seek a resolution. During the discussion, you need to allow everybody involved equal time to present their case. That way, everyone will feel heard, and no matter what the resolution, your employees will know that their opinion are valued. If your job as a manager to make sure that you are managing conflict and not ignoring it. If you avoid conflict, the problem will continue to cause more problems on your team. Your employees may also see your avoidance as weak management and they will not feel confident in your skill as a leader. Sometimes, when you are managing conflict, there is a resolution that is amiable everyone on your team. But more often than not, resolution will displease someone when they do not get their way. You should select the best resolution for the conflict at the hand. Do not select a resolution just because it will please everyone. Without a solid guide, disastrous result. But before we can negative, how to properly resolve the conflict? What creates conflict in the workplace? Opposing position, power struggle, ego, pride, jealous, performance discrepancies, compensation issue, and just someone having a bad day. But the reality is that the root of the most conflict. Countless times, otherwise smart, capable people place the need for the emotional superior ahead of the achieve the collective company mission. Don't worry, we will share guidelines to keep in mind when encouraging conflict. Okay, and the first one, talk to each conflict participant privately to piece together a story when talking each person involved. Keep an objective about concern, tone or not agree or disagree. Just listen, second, research each version of event and then write down a conflict or disagreement a few sentences. What caused it and a possible solution for the problem. For the third is meet the main employees involved the conflict together in a private room to keep a coordinate and optimist the very beginning of the meeting. And request the same from the each person for objectively receive and the conflict back to the participant telling. Both sides, how do you understand it, verify with each person that what you are said accurate, allow each person to add correct any details and propose solution. This research a final solution based on a participant proposed solution and ask you are welcome up with us the objective party. Print out a copy for each party to the conflict and have them sign a master copy to verify the information.